Welcome to Andy's Garage. I'm Andy Phillips. Today I'm going to show you how to replace the Downstream O2 sensors on a Chevy Trailblazer. Now this is the EXT, so it has the 5.3 liter V8. Let's get started. Here are the items that you'll need to complete this. Obviously you will need your replacement O2 sensor. You want to make sure that when you order it you get the one for the Downstream. You can get these at automotive stores, online, different places. I would highly recommend not getting the cheap Chinese stuff off of eBay though, because when you're dealing with O2 sensors and things like that, you want them to be very precise. If they're not well made, you may have issues with the performance of your vehicle. Next, what I use, and we're going to take a look underneath, but some of the spots are a little bit tight on the Downstreams. You can use these 7/8 O2 sensor sockets. I have two different ones here that you can use, or I just use a 22 millimeter wrench, because you can get a good grip on it, and if you need some extra leverage you can take a hammer and give it a good whack and that'll break it loose, but it's up to you. And then if you are going to use these attachments you will need a ratchet, so that's all you'll need. We have the vehicle up in the air. As you can see here, I'm using these Rhino Ramps. If you want to see a product review I did for them, you can check it out via the link down in the description. Also have it across the top, but you don't want to rely solely on them. We're going to be going underneath the vehicle, so I do have jack stands in place. You also want to make sure that you chock the wheels. You want to be safe when you're going under the vehicle. But let's head underneath and I'll show you where everything is located. Looking towards the front of the vehicle, this is the driver's side. So this is what's known as bank one. This is your upstream or sensor one right here. That's before the catalytic converter. The one that we're going to be doing in this video is the sensor 2 right here, or downstream as it's called, which is after the catalytic converter. On the driver's side, you can see it's kind of tucked there in the back. And that's where, as I mentioned, the 22 millimeter usually is easier to use instead of trying to get the socket on there, but it's up to you what you want to do. And that's kind of how it looks here from the distance. You have it back there, catalytic converter, upstream, and then it goes up to the exhaust manifold, driver's side. Passenger side, let's come over here. This is the passenger side, which is known as bank 2, sensor 1 right here, which is the one between the exhaust manifold and catalytic converter. Right past the catalytic converter, there's our sensor 2 downstream. This one's easy because it's sticking right out. On the driver's side, the bank 1, it's tucked in that corner, that's why it's harder. So this one's got very easy access to get to right there. You can either put the 22 millimeter wrench right around that and take it off, or you can use one of the O2 sockets to get that off. Now let me show you where the harness is for this one and the other one. There's the catalytic converter. If we pull back right here near the transmission, you can see the downstream sensor all the way there. Here's the harness for it, is right there. So that's a very simple connection there. You can just reach up, disconnect it, plug the new one in, screw the new one in, and you're done. Let's head over to the one on bank 1. Here's the sensor for the bank 1 sensor 2. It's just right here mounted onto this transmission support cross member right here. So all you'll do is just disconnect that, unscrew it, and swap it out. Alright, now that we've identified where they are, how to disconnect them, I'm only going to be focusing in this video on the bank 1 sensor 2, because that's the harder one. As we saw, the bank 2 sensor 2 is easy. Just unscrew it, unplug it, and you're done. This one's a little trickier, so that's the one I'm going to be showing in the video. But let's go ahead and get that taken care of. Now to disconnect the harness, just pull this little safety tab out. And then now we can just grab this, pull that back, and it should come right off. Alright, we're going to slide this socket over it. There we go. And then now on this open end, we'll go ahead and connect our ratchet. I was going to use the 22 millimeter, which you could use on all three of the sensors on this vehicle. It's just that it's too tight in here. We were hitting this heat shield with it, so we couldn't get a good grip on it. So now we're going to come in on this side, connect our ratchet in here, and then you want to make sure that you're completely over this. Get a good grip on it. Once you have it on there, there we go, it's starting to turn it. It's a little tight up in here. There we go. Once you have it broken loose, you should be able to do it by hand. We'll come in here now. There we go. You can see this sensor is in bad shape. And on top of that, we were also getting a code as seen here. This is the code that we're getting. You can see it's the O2 Bank 1 Sensor 2, which is what we just looked at underneath. That's the driver's side downstream, so the one after the catalytic converter. Look at that. Here's our old sensor. I'm going to get a close-up of it. We can see how bad that looks, but let's get the new one, and then we'll head underneath and install the new one, wrap it up. You can see this thing is really bad. Sometimes you can clean these. If you want to see a video I did showing that and the results of it, you can check that out via the link above, also down in the description. But to my knowledge, this is the original O2 sensor from 20 years ago, so definitely in need of going. Going to head underneath and install this. Now, this particular O2 sensor that I'm using, the only one that was available at the time was a universal one, which had to be reconnected to the existing harness. If you want to see a video on how to install a universal O2 sensor, meaning how to connect everything, you can check it out via the link above. I'll also have it down in the description. But sometimes when you're purchasing your O2 sensors, if you need one right on the spot, sometimes they're not in stock. They have to order it, and all that's there is a universal one. Just want to make sure that it is still a perfect fit for your vehicle. As long as it's a perfect fit for your vehicle and just universal, then you can use the existing harness and keep your project moving. Let's head underneath. Bringing it in, you can see we have the anti-seize on the threads. If it does not come with it, the sensor you get, highly recommended that you put it on there. Just hand screw it in. Once we get it fully hand tightened, then we'll come back and tighten it completely. So that's good. Let's connect the harness. Coming here on this frame piece, we'll bring it in. Get that fully locked on. And you want to make sure that you put this back in place so it doesn't come off. Tuck that in there. Using the same socket and ratchet, we'll now tighten it. There we go. All right, everything has been put in, tightened up, properly connected. Let's get in the vehicle, start it up, and see how it's running, and then wrap up this video. Running great. All right, everything is running good. So that wraps up this video on how to replace the downstream O2 sensors on a Chevy Trailblazer EXT with the 5.3 liter V8. I hope that this video was informative for you. I hope it helped you out with any projects that you're working on. As mentioned already, I have tons of links to other videos pertaining to this vehicle down in the description if you want to see how to do a lot of other stuff to this vehicle. We've done a lot of work to it. Please send me any questions and comments. I would love to hear from you. And as always, I appreciate all the support. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time.